Please, can you introduce yourself?
Um, yeah, good morning.
Morning.
I am Francis Nat Mensah, but the Nat is not Tara Mensah. Yeah. Um, I live around Old Barrier, but my farm is in Potting Junction. Yeah.
Okay, please, what's inspired to start farming?
Actually, I was brought up in the Western region, and no, what Western region dominantly is farming work. So I got to know about farmers like cocoa farmers and other vegetables and other crops. But my father was not a farmer. Yeah, my father was a ex-military man, and later on he was a cook working with the white men there that was then called ATMP. So I saw how farming was. Well, I schooled there, my education. Finally, my elder brother left abroad. So he decided to also take me there. So that was Japan. I went there. I stayed there so long. I started in the spare parts business and in Abosokai, actually. When you come there, I'm the FN Enterprise, if anybody who have heard before. So I stayed outside in Japan for some time. Me and my wife and my daughter, we decided to settle back home. So we came down 202 that we came back to settle permanently. Although I used to go still look at my business in Japan, then come back. But years come by, I also felt I was growing. So I have to decide to stay home and take care of other family businesses. So I had in mind to invest in estate buildings. So I acquired land in Potting Junction. Again, I knew a lot of litigation problems in farming. So I decided that to protect the land, I will plant mangoes, trees. That will be symbol to protect the land. On the way, I decided, what I studied outside in Japan, what their farming is about. So I decided to implement it in Ghana here. And I had a very good boss in Japan who taught me so many things. Japanese, they are very industrious. They know everything. They know farming, engineering, and other things. So he taught me because I was very good a worker to him. So when I came and we planted the mangoes, I decided, oh, why not? Farming is like a therapy. That's how I would call it because it's like giving birth to a baby. Then you will taking care of the baby. All of a sudden, day in day out, it start growing, becomes a man or a woman. So that inspired me. So I started with the mangoes. I saw that it was really doing good, and again, I also thought to add some other businesses to help the young ones. Actually, it has been some of my ideas that since I'm growing old, whatever idea or whatever I've learned, I would like to help the younger ones. I will not keep it within me. One day, if I'm gone, all those ideologies are gone. So I had a passion to put on the poultry farm, not necessarily my benefits, but at least to help the younger ones also to also get something out of it. So I started a poultry farm, something small, and I gradually I find out it was getting interesting. The income was good. As I said earlier on, you still, bring in a day old chick, day in, day out, before you realize it start laying eggs. Sometimes when you go into the pen, you see a lot of eggs. Very surprising. So it was interesting. I decided to expand. Then again, I also thought as I've been in farming now, I've entered in farming, I thought of also going to pigs. So I went into pigs. I had a lot of them. We used to sell, we made good monies. Again, I also thought of going to fish farming with the help of the agric officer here and the agric director. Actually, they have been my role models. They help me a lot. They come to my farm. Sometimes they bring young ones to come and see what I'm doing here. And why I really like them so much is that I was here for so many years. Nobody came here to even ask of what I was doing here. One officer, I think he's Alex, and the agric director, a woman, they came here and talked to me about if I have any questions, I need any assistance from the farming. Well, I said, well, I didn't need anything that much from financially, but advice of how to improve the farming work. They did. So I think, is it 3 years ago, I was the second best, run-up best farmer within our area here. We did the program in Budumbura, which really I was very surprised. So I felt that not knowing people are aware of what I'm doing, it inspired me really. So farming, I will encourage all the young ones. As I said earlier on, farming is like, I would call it therapy. For instance, we have other vegetables here like the garden eggs, the maize, okra, tomatoes. We do. I tried to experiment it. And even I remember some time ago, we did experiment on how to plant yams. It was my own idea. The Greek officers, they came here. Even the director herself, she came. I really also told them what I'm also trying to do. It was successful. So I encourage all the younger ones. No, farming is good. Me, for instance, I'm a businessman. Although I'm retired now, you'll be surprised that what I spent is only fuel, and maybe my children, my what's school fees, and maybe medications. I don't buy anything. Almost I get everything here. I get tomatoes, I get pepper, plantain, cassava, maybe it's rice that maybe I will buy. At my situation, that I should have spent more. Instead, I don't spend. I have the fish down here. I can get some if I want. I have the taste of fish. I get it. If I have the taste for pork, I can get it. If I have a taste for chicken, I can equally get that too. And I think that the young ones should really go into farming. The problem I have with farming is our government, whether it is the responsibility of the district assembly to do that or what, I don't know. Those who are responsible for that should help the younger ones. Sometimes they try to say, oh, go to farming, go to farming. Where is the land? We see the land vast lying down there. When you go in, there's a lot of conditions, a lot of things you need. You need like it should be a mechanized farming. We cannot be doing the old style of our fathers. That is why people run away from farming. It looks like it's for the old or older people. I don't think so. Farming, I don't think necessarily you need the bigger land. As I said earlier on, when you go to Japan and they are planting corn, a very sizable land, they will harvest a lot of it. They take the advice of the agric officers or system. But here we just go into farming. We don't take the advice. You try to plant anyhow. At the end of the harvesting, you cannot get like when you take the advice in lines, distance, then you can get what you want. Encouraging farming, there should be a market. If you look at the business strategy, you first have to look for market before you go into the business. Because when you come to the finishing product and you don't have market, well, it will discourage you entirely. For instance, the poultry, for instance, the eggs, they are ready. When you pick them, you package them, they go to market, you take your money. You don't have to worry about eggs. The chicken too, same. When they are overspent, you want to dispose them, you just call those who want to, they just come and take everything out. So it makes it easier. But for instance, about some months back, if you go to like the market roadside, you see a lot of plantain going waste. I don't know how we are going to save that. Because if you are a farmer and you are a plantain farmer, and you know most of farms like the cocoa farms, those in the typical rural areas, it's plantain that they plant. So at the end of the year, they harvest them and they cannot sell. It discourages them. But that is risky to our economy. Because if it happens that farmers are discouraged, that they had a lot of harvest and they could not get market, they relax. Between that period, you will see that all of a sudden scarcity is start going scarce. Then it tends to be a burden on the government. So I remember, if it is right, in Japan, I learned that the Ministry of Agric, they control the agric sector. So if they produce over the next year, they will give them money to reduce the production so that it will not be over. That they'll give them money because they are supposed to farm. They give them money. For instance, you harvested 20 tons, then next year you should reduce it to 10. But they give you money to subsidize that because you need to live. You see, but here when it happens that you harvest and nobody talks to you. I remember even sometimes when we have challenges in our poultry, like the bird flu and others, they will kill them, and nothing comes out from that. You see, these are some of the challenges of farming in Ghana. I think that government should take in a bold step, and when you do the comparison to outside world, like the advanced world, it's some few people who do farming, very few. Because if you look at the younger ones in Ghana here, supposing there are factories here, they will not worry themselves going to farm, right? So those who are rich, the rich people will go into farming. No interferences. They produce as much as they can. And it's also easier to negotiate with government because there are some few, big farmers. But now we have small, everybody. That's the main work in Ghana here. Almost all of us are farmers. So if there's a problem, it's difficult to government himself need to solve it because everybody is a farmer. There's no registration, nothing. So who is a farmer? You don't even know who is the farmer, who is the real farmer. You government have to help. That is also a problem. You see, I keep on saying that when you go to town, you see that everyone wants to sell a small tabletop. Everybody wants to sell. Everybody wants to sell. Why? Just because to survive. When you go to outside world, because they are advanced, you not worry to go and sell something on table because if you go to the factory and you work, when the month ends, you get good salary, take care of yourself, your nuclear family or whatever. Like me, for instance, if you look at me, when I went there, I had a burnt accident in Japan, of course. And after that, I decided to still continue what I have to do, not to discourage myself. It took me some years. I work in the junkyard. People come there, buy spare parts from our company. I was working in a Japanese company, ship it to Ghana. Of course, make good money. I saw it when they come, they discuss with me how much they make. But I still got very humbled, worked, saved good money. Really, when I tell you some things, you will be surprised. Can you remember that in Japan, as at that time, a can of Coke was 120 yen. That is about $1. And as of that time, I wanted to go into spare parts. I was not buying. I saw it to be expensive. So sometimes when we have my boss, normally we have the break time every 2 hours. Yeah, we have a resting time like about 30 minutes. Then there's juice, all of us to drink. Then we have lunch. then 2 o'clock we have another rest, like 30 minutes, then drink. No, I will not buy. So I will drink water, but I'll be saving my good money until that I gathered enough money that, oh, I can buy spare parts, I can do the shipment, I can pay for duties. Then I started. No, went to the business.
I want to find out, once you stay at Japan
Yeah.
and somebody was watching our video and he was outside Ghana and want to start farming, what advice that you can give the person?
Okay. The advice one I will give the person is that apart from online business, any business that is practical, your presence is very important. Apart from online business, because you can do it anywhere you want to do that. But any business that goes with like farming, factory, or whatever, your presence is very important. Although you can have a manager, in Japan, for instance, no, I continue mention Japan. You should excuse me because that is what I can talk about. I love the place so much. In Japan, we have so many companies there, like the JR, that's Japan Railway. We have other train systems. We have other big companies. The owners are not. They are not supposed to be there. It is you are not supposed to be there because somebody is managing the company for you, doing a good job. You have the administration, you have your board of directors, the CEO is there. The owner himself don't have to worry. But when you come to Ghana here, maybe excuse my language, one will be getting offended. But that is the truth. You see, some of us are not. So one, you have to be very careful first. Try to get one you can trust before you handle business to him. If you are coming down yourself to do it, fine. If you want somebody to take care of you, really put good precautions. Now, because of trust, if you go to other even farms, they are monitors.
But my last video I post, the place is full of cameras.
Yes.
Why? It's not staying here, it's staying as USA.
Yeah.
So it's monitor everything.
Yeah. You see, so why should that be? That is extra cost. You see, the cameras should be there to protect external, not internal. You see, like I said earlier on, in Japan, for instance, I remember I worked in one company. There was a very, 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 very old lady with a hatchback. And the way the old lady works, you cannot stand there. They are Japanese and industrious, very, very hard working people. Well, let's come back to your question about advice. Well, I think it depends on the type of business you want to. For instance, if it is farming, well, you have to acquire the land, get your machinery, everything, especially means of getting water if it is farming. That's one of the major problems we have here, because our pipe waters, treated waters, one, they are expensive. Two, they are not that reliable. Sometimes they are flowing, sometimes they are not flowing, so you cannot use them. Even here, as I'm talking to you, I have the borehole, I have 2 wells, and I have the pipe-borne water. So for water, I don't have water problem. When the pipe-borne water is not flowing, we can use the borehole. If the borehole have a problem, we have 2 wells that we can so get water. So water is one of the major things you need. Yeah, I think since specifically you did not ask specifically, if it is farming, then we can. Should we talk about farming or generally? Yeah. Generally, it's about an attitude of Ghanaians workers. I've been advising the younger ones that put good attitude to work. I always compare myself back. I don't want people, my listeners, to be offended. When I was in Japan, for instance, I used to work like my own. Yes, because of that, you see, I'm a black man. Initially, when we went there, it was not easy. Discrimination of color. You see, so, but me, for instance, I've been learning a lot about human characteristic, the way we behave. Even in Ghana here, we talk that the white discriminate us. But look at we even Ghana here. So we also do same. You say, oh, this one is from the north, this one is from here, this one is too is light skin, this one is too, we do. So it is so sometimes you try to endure it, but even if you don't like it, you don't supposed to voice it out. That I don't think, because we are all creature of God, you see. So when I was there, for instance, I worked the keys. You see, I'm a black man. They have all the keys to me, and since it was a junkyard, we used to sell the waste fuel. Like when we are scrapping the cars, the cars come along with fuel. So we siphon them, keep them in dry, and people come to buy cheaper. And I takes all those monies, and sometimes people come. We had an American base which was closer to our work. We have a very big American base in Japan. A lot of bases there. So they come, Americans, they are very stingy. Sorry to use that word, by the way. They use money very carefully. So they come and buy alternative starters, and I take those monies. The next day when my boss comes, I say, oh, my boss, this is the money, what I sold yesterday. That is not the main sales of the company. The main sales, although, goes to my boss himself, but petty things like that. Then you say, oh, Frank, take this. Then I will take it.
I mean, that's for the youth.
Yeah, the youths, that's what I said. There's no shortcut. I think on our conversation, I was about to land within the shortcut issue. Because me, for instance, you have to, for instance, you should have a dream. And again, my boss also told me that every man should have the mind to own a business. Why is he saying that? He's saying that every man, he said that they Japanese, they believe in reincarnation. But the reincarnation, whether if you are born again, reborn, you'll be a cat, you'll be a dog, or what? You don't know. So now it's you. You see, so you have to work hard. A target, for instance, you should have a dream. Every younger person should have a dream. For instance, I should have go to maybe a bigger business like the fuel business or others. But I think this is where my heart is. Me, I don't like talking too much or being stressed, like struggling, fuel price fighting with. I don't like the situation. When businesses that stress is a little bit, that is what I can do. So every younger person should have a dream of doing that. After you get the dream, you had your dream. Don't rush. You see, no matter what you earn a month, even if you save 10 cedis a month, you give yourself some years, you get your capital. You don't need to think you need that. There are some other young people who comes around. For instance, I have a boy who is also owning a potted farm here, and initially he had 250 birds, and I started with 1,000. As I'm talking to you now, I think his maximum is 500. So sometimes when you meet them, you say, oh, you can be a loan, even me, I also need a loan. Oh. You see, everybody needs loan. You see, everybody need money. So that is what you can't. So you don't expect me. Indirectly, he may be thinking that I would have said, oh, then come and take let's take 100,000. No, it cannot happen like that. I also need to expand. If I have one, I want two. You have two, I want three. That is so you have to focus, save your money, no matter how much. Then if you are getting to your dream, and again, the last advice is that when you are doing savings, you have an objective why you are saving. For instance, you say you want to own a poultry farm. Then you target yourself 5 years. Maybe I'll be saving maybe 100 cedis a month. 5 years, I'll get this capital. Then on the way, there is a funeral or something. Don't use that money that you have saved for. Go and borrow money and use it for that. Why am I saying? If you compare it, it will be cheaper to use your own savings. But why should you borrow money? If you borrow money, it will be to pay back.
But when you pick that your savings, spend it, you come back to square zero. You see, so you have to borrow money with interest. It looks like it doesn't make sense. So that you will be forced to pay back. So after paying back, you still have this your money. You come and continue your dream. But always when you have a problem, you go back to your savings, you spend it. Then your dream will never come to reality.
Like last advice, I remember my independent teacher said the same thing.
Mm.
We debate on this on class, say like why have the money there, and like no that one you use business capital, your capital you are
Mm.
using for business.
Mm.
They say don't use your business capital to do kind of something like
Yes.
that one, but use a hospital bill.
Mm.
They say don't use your capital to do that.
Mm.
Go and borrow money.
Yes.
So like in the class we are saying no, this one is not. Once I have money for the
No.
so I can.
No.
Thank you very much for your advice. Yeah. And if you are watching, please like the video, share and subscribe. With this information, at the next video, we will talk about why he started Spotify, the challenge that he faced, and after that, we go for the pick two, the same thing. So if you want to start poultry, pig, and fish, like the video, share and follow us for our next videos. Bye.